Welcome back everyone, it's Chris, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how to customize the Django admin. So up to this point we've built out like the front end of our application, we've added our custom styles, we've worked on the CRUD for expenses, CRUD for income, pagination and such. We've also worked on like persisting the user preferences, we've worked on authentication. So right now I want us to start working on the admin. So right now when we go to our admin section, you'll notice that it's named differently. So right here we are seeing Django administration. We would want to have something like a brand of ours. So we would want to have this color has changed sometime. So when we log out and we come back to the login page, you can see that this is not what we would really want. So we would want to change this, change the colors. Sometimes we might even want to spread this button from here to here. So let me log in again here. So right here, when it comes, we might want to like hide away this section. We might want to only hide away the groups. So when we come to like expenses, you notice that we only get the field that is listed as the title as in the Danda string method. So we might want to show some other attributes. We might want to show a way for a user to filter out these. We might want to add a search field. So all that stuff. So right now what we're going to do is basically start with that. So we are now going to start by changing this, because this is the most thing that we would want to change in the first place. So for us to be able to do that, we are going to go to our templates. So right here, when we have our template set up, so right here where we have all our templates, we are going to create a folder here called admin. So we are going to have a folder called admin, and then we are going to have a file called base_site.html. Okay, so this is the file that's going to contain all our customizations for the admin. So here we're going to be overriding most of the stuff that comes in the Django admin. Okay, so the first thing we're going to need to first do is extend the built-in admin base template. So let's extend that one. So right here, I'm going to put extends. So it's in admin/base.html. Okay, so once we import that, since we are going to be like changing, like adding a logo somewhere, we need to load static. So right here we can load static, so we can connect to our static assets. Okay, so once we do that, then we are going to now bring in this tag called branding. So we are going to define a block called branding. So block branding should be branding. Okay, like that. Then of course we need to end block. And in here, now we can define our customizations. So the first thing we are going to need to customize is this header. And then maybe we would want to add a logo here. So for us to be able to do that, in here, since we are already in the branding block, then now we can define what would be like our header. Okay, so right here, I'm going to put an H1. Then there are some CSS classes that are attached to these fields. So the one specific for this field is called head. So I'm going to give it an ID of head, just so it could pick up those styles if need be. So once we have that, so right here, we need to reference our logo. So if we check our static files, which are in our main app folder, which is here, then static, you notice that we don't have any images here. So I'm going to download any random picture on the internet and we use that. Okay, so I'm going to get this one. So let me save it to my hard drive. So save image as, so then I'm going to call it logo. Okay, so I can replace it, I don't mind. Okay, so let's open it in our Finder, and then we need to bring it into our project. So I'm going to open this side by side. Here. So in our images.img, I'm going to drag it and drop it there. Okay, so now you see we have logo. So here in the base site HTML, I'm now going to bring in our our image. So the way we do that is using the image tag. Then the source will be, we need to bring in our tags. So now we can use our static, and then we need to define the path. So the path will be img/logo. Sure, it's should be png.png. Okay, so once we bring that in, we need to close, of course, the image tag. So close that. So once we bring that in, now the next thing we are going to need to change will be the title. So let's say we want to call our application what? Let's say we want to call it truly expenses. So right here we can add truly expenses. Okay, so once we have that, we can actually save it. Let me actually bring back my full screen. So once we have this, now we can save it. So if you go back to the browser, go back to our app and reload it, you can see that we get a logo here, and then the name changes. Okay, good. So one of the first things you realize is this is taking off like a lot of space. So we are just going to style it here using adding some inline styles. So I'm going to give it a width of like 35 and a height of 35. Let's look at it now. So yeah, you can see that now it's small and it's good. Okay, so some other things you might notice is that this might not be the color we would want. So we might want white instead of this yellowish. We might also want to change this color here. So the way we do that is right here. We need to bring in a block for that can enable us to add styles to our template. So right here, what you need to do is bring in a block. Then it's going to be called extra styles. So extra underscore styles. Okay, so make sure it's block underscore style. Okay, good. So of course we need to close it. So right here should have an end block. So now in here should be end block extra style, should be extra style. Okay, so end block, my formatting is playing around with me. So end block. Okay, so once we have this, then we can reference a file that will affect this page. So right here, now we can bring in a link, and then we link to a file. So it's going to be a CSS file, and then it's going to link to, let's bring in our syntax. So right here, we are going to use the static, and then we can call the file anything. So I'm going to call it admin.css. Well, actually, I'm going to call it adminstyles.css. Okay, so let me remove this extra stuff. Okay, so now that we have this, we can now create this file. So in our static, so this would be where we save our files. I'm actually going to put it inside CSS. So right here, I'm going to put adminstyle.css, and then I'm going to have to rename this to point to css/adminstyle.css. Good. So right here, now the trick I'm going to show you that you can use to be styling this. So if we come back to our browser, I'm going to pull up the console here such that I can select these areas. So in here, when we select like this, you can see that it has an ID of header. Okay, so now we can use this. We can now use this ID in here and override some of those styles. So the first thing we're going to now override is this color. Okay, so actually we can keep everything else, but of course you could adjust them to fit your needs. So we're going to change these two colors. So the background will change, and then the color will change to maybe something like white, something more random. Okay, so I'm gonna go to, let's say, color palette. Let's just pick some random color that we find. Okay, so let's bring this one up. Okay, so maybe we can use this. I don't know if it's a good test, but so I'm going to use some tool that I have here. It's going to be called color tool. This is a tool that's built onto a Mac, and it's always helpful. So now we can select the color. Okay, so I'm actually going to pick this one, which is RGB 06289. So right here, RGB 06269 here, 69. Okay, so the text will be white, so FF should be FFFF. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, good. So once we add this and go back to our site, let's bring it back up. Let's come over here and reload. You can see that our main color changes, but then our color doesn't change. So let's try to inspect and see what's going on here. Okay, so right here, you can see that it's the branding H1. So we can select that one as well. So select it. So what's changed is the color of actually this, but for it, we need to target it explicitly. So since it's CSS, we can actually do that, and then we can give it a color. So color is gonna be white, okay. So let's test it out, and you see, it changes. It looks like we had a very bad choice for the image because the color is not showing up, but the color is not coming through with the whole view of this. But you can actually change it to what you would want, doesn't matter. So let's see which other secondary color we could use. Okay, so since we have this, maybe we could use this. So let me also get it. Okay, so when I hover above, so that is 6188106. Good. So let me just add background. And of course, I'm going to add the element later. So it's 61. Just come over. 6188106. 6188106. Okay, so let's come back to our app and select that area, or that region, or whatever I want to call it. So right now, when I use my selector here, you'll notice that this is the breadcrumb. So I'm going to pick up everything in here and then come back to our CSS. So I'm going to target that. I don't want to change a lot. So I can now bring in our RGB color. So the background is going to be RGB. And then I don't want those prefilling stuff. So it's going to change to this. Then the color, let's also change it to white. But really it doesn't matter. I'm just showing you how you can be selecting these. So once you reload, you can see that everything changes. These are white, which is good, which is what we want. So now when we come and log out, so if I will log out here, okay, you notice that the style that we have on our, okay, the text that we have on our main page. So if I could come in again, so password is quite similar to what we have here. Okay, so if you ever want to have a different text like in this header for the login, so what you could do is actually come in here and extend another template. So right here, you can create a template called login.html, and then it's gonna have everything that we have in here, but then we are going to twist it a bit. So now this one is going to extend from login. Okay, so I'm going to remove the static because we won't be loading static in this one. But if you ever wanted to like add a custom logo to that page, you could. So you could like add a logo icon here, but really it doesn't matter. So I'm going to remove this. Then I would change this to basically, okay, so it makes sense. So right here, we need to end this block. So just make sure you don't forget that. So end block. Okay, so right here now we can say something like backend login. It really doesn't matter. So if I come back and reload, you can see that the text changes. So if we log in, let's log in here. You can see that we have a different text here. Good. Okay, so let's log out again and then see if there's something more we can do. So right here, you might want to, let's say you want to like make this button stretch all over the place. So the easiest way to do it is you can actually come in here and select it. So you can now inspect its styles. So right here, you can see that it is in a div that's with a class of submit row. But when you look at its styles, you see it has a padding that's quite pushes everything to the left, because you see this is the top, left, bottom. Also, this is the top, right, bottom, and then left. Now, when you come and like uncheck this, you see it goes to the left. So meaning now, if you wanted this to spread over, we could come in here, select it, and then like give it a width of 100%. So something like this. So now let's do this actually, and maybe we want to change the color. So let's do that. So you see right here where we have the submit row, so we could select it. And then if we had some custom styles, we would do them here. But then even when we put it here, it should actually work. Let's do that. So submit row. So we're going to change the padding to be 0, actually to be 0 pixels. So that's going to change the default padding. Okay, so let's actually inspect it a bit and see. Okay, so we need to select it by login, then submit row. Okay, so let's bring it back. Login, submit row. Let's reload. And then let's check it again. So you can see that it doesn't get overridden. We should be able to do this, and we can add importance just to emphasize it. So if we come back and reload, so there is an issue. This is in admin login. Let's look at it. Oh, we need to end broke. Yeah. Reload. So yeah, so you can see that now it goes to the left. So for us to switch it over to the right, we need to select it, and then we can see that this is the link. So this is the style. So I'm gonna copy all of it, copy it out, then I'll bring it here in our CSS. So as you can see, some of the styles you might have to emphasize them. Okay, so right here, we need to give this a width of 100%. So if we come back and reload, you can see that it's taking off the whole width. So if we wanted to use the same color like this one, then we could do like, use this background over here. Let's test again. You can see that the color now changes. Good. So now let's move in and go to some more dynamic stuff. So once we log in here, the first thing that we notice is this. We might want to change the colors of this to be like this. So it's same logic, just come in, select it, then you should be able to see, like how those classes are. So right here, if we look at this module, and then you can see there is a table inside, then the caption. So the caption is the one that has a background of this one. So we want to select this, select it, then come over here. Then we need to now add our custom background. Good. So bring this one in. So let's see how it's been looking. And yes, you can see that all this now changes. So I'm going to leave these other styles, changing these styles to you. So you can go in and change all these if you wanted, just by following that easy trick. So even if you wanted to change like this, you make like this extend, you could do that. For example, if you come in here and select this, you're going to see that the main content is 600. So you can play around with this as long as you don't like crash the app. But you can come in here and play around with these things and make it the way you would want. Okay, so done with that. Now, if you ever like don't want to show something, let's say you don't want to show this section for authentication, authorization, you can actually do it through CSS. Or you want to remove like groups, you can actually do it through CSS. Although I'm sure there are some other ways you could do it through Django. But for the CSS way, it's just easy. For example, if you come in here and you select like this, Let's say we want to remove this section. Okay, so this would be the app module. So if you wanted to remove it from the DOM, it's simple, display none, and it's gone. Okay, so you can actually do some cool stuff with just CSS and not Django. But for now, that will be it for the customization. So that's how you can approach like customizing everything, the look and feel. As long as you know some CSS basics, you can actually make it look the way you want. Okay, so now let's see how we can add some other options to our models. Okay, so I'm going to reload this just so I lose out the styles. Should lose out the styles, yeah. Okay, so let me extend this. So we're actually having an issue. So it looks like some of our styles are overriding with this. So this is the button. Remember we gave the other button 100%. Maybe this is the one that's bringing issues here. So let's first look at this. So this is button. So if we look at our style, this one, you can see that's, yeah, that's the one. So we can remove this. Okay, so let's see. You can also remove this button. Okay, so if we come back around and reload, you can see that, yeah, we are back. Okay, so now if we wanted to like add other fields here, just so we can have like a very tabular way, that's an easier tabular way to look at this. So we could come in here in our app. So these are expenses. So if you go to our app, so which should be expenses, then here you notice that we already have the admin.py file, and this is the one that we are using to add like this. So if we ever wanted to add like more customizations here, we are going to need to now change the way we register them. So we are going to create a class here. So this class is going to be something like expense admin, and this is going to extend from admin to model admin. Okay, so now this can let us tap into some other functionalities. So right here, what we want to do just is to change what we see here. So the first thing we are going to want to change are the attributes that we see in that list. So the property we define is called list display. So now we define a tuple here. So the tuple contains the attributes that we want to be visible. So those would be like here in the model. If we come over here, I'm actually going to copy out all of them just so we could see them properly. So I'm going to bring them here. So we want the amount. We are going to want the date. So it's going to depend on the order you define them. So it's good you structure it the way you want. So let's also show the owner, show the category, and then show the, let me just do that, and then show the dates at the end. Okay, so once we have that, we can clean up this. So once we define what we want to show, we now have to register this, but then with its model admin. So right here, we need to bring this one in and then pass it in as a second argument. Okay, so now when we come back to our site and reload here, you can see that now we have all our attributes. Good. Okay, so this is all good and all, but how about if we wanted to add like a search field, just so a user can search for in the backend? So the way we do that is defining a search fields here. So it's called search fields. And search, of course, should be spelled correctly. Push it a bit. So this would mean that we want to search by like these users, or we want to search by these attributes. Okay, sometimes you might get issues with some of them because they might not be direct strings that you can search by, but really it doesn't matter. Regarding on your needs, you can always have a way to let's say I want to search by the description, the category, and date, so you can keep those. So when we come back around, our server is not on, so let's just do this. Go to admin, and then go to expenses. You can see that now we have a search view, although this is conflicting with our styles, so we might want to look into that later. But now if we search for something like description, you can see that it matches, and it's using the I contains filter, so you can even search through by like case insensitive strings. Okay, so that's well and good. So you see you get like the results count and then the total number of items that are there. So which is all and good and and everything. Okay, so if you had like many and you wanted to change how many you view per page, so if you come in here, so right now you see we have up to 9. So if you wanted to view like 5 and then add pagination here, you can define another property here on this class called list per page. So list underscore per page. Okay, so once you have that, let's say we want to show 5 and come back and reload. You can see that it's showing 5 and then it has this pagination. You can paginate through and then you can like see all. Yeah, so which is all good. Okay, so this is going to do it for the video. I hope this gave you a good introduction to how you can customize some parts of your Django admin. So if the video actually helped you a lot, please give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to the channel for future videos because we are going to be doing a lot more of this. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.